Hi everyone, welcome to a tutorial where we'll go over the main kinds of text fields in the KivyMD package. So we'll go over three of them. We'll go over the MDTextField, the MDTextFieldRound, and MDTextFieldRect. And we'll also look at the options that are associated with those. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the code. The main thing, well, I guess here I'll start with my folder again like I always do. Inside of my project folder I have the KivyMD package copied over, and then my main.kv and main.py file. Okay, so in the Python file, the important thing here is that I've initialized my theme manager, so from KivyMD.theming import theme manager, and I've basically set up my color scheme. And I said I want my primary color to be this green, I want my accent color to be blue, and then I just want my theme style, so like the background color, my app will be dark. Okay, and I'll use these green and blues to change colors of widgets like associated with the text fields. Okay, so that's all. I've just got my colors in there. And in my KV code, I just have a box layout set up. There's no widgets in here. I've just centered it on my screen and changed the size a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We'll import the MDTextField widget. Note the capital F, MDTextField, from the KivyMD.TextFields.MDTextField. Oops, import spelled wrong. Okay, so let's just throw that in there and see what it looks like by default. I'll run my app, and you can see it's this dark color, and here is my text field. So when I click on it, it highlights with the green color, which remember was the primary color for my app, and when I unfocus it, it goes back to its standard gray color. So that's what it looks like by default, but let's go ahead and go over all of the options that you can use with the MDTextField. The first one, most important, I would say, is hint text. So this is a string, and I'll just say this is hint text, and I'll run the app again, and you can see, okay, hint text is like, it tells the user what they need to write here. And when you click the text field now, the hint text kind of moves out of the way, and you've got the color still in there, and you can type whatever you need. And then when I defocus, it all changes back. And if I clear the text in here, the hint text will move back down. Okay, so this really makes it look like an actual text field. So that's important. Another one is helper text. This is kind of like a second hint. So I'll say this is helper text. And then when you're using helper text, you also have to use the helper text mode. This is a string, and this can either be persistent or it can be on focus. So let's use persistent at first, and I'll run my app again. And you can see now I've got my hint text here that works as it did before, but I also have the second little bit, which is the helper text, which is underneath my my text field. So that's what it looks like with the persistent mode. Now if I change this to on focus and I run my app again, you'll see it's not there anymore, but as soon as I click on the text field, it'll pop up, and I can write whatever I want, and it'll disappear again. So those are the two options for helper text. Okay, so you have helper text mode defines when it's shown, and the helper text variable is just the string. All right, next we can do something like required, and we can set required to true. By default it's false, but required true means that if I click in here and I don't enter anything, it'll turn red immediately afterwards. So it kind of indicates to your user, hey, this is a required field. So that's what required does. Next we will look at the max text length, and let's say this is like 12. I'll run my app again, and now when I click in here, you can see I've got this little indicator 0 out of 12 characters. So this controls the max characters I can use, and if I write stuff and see it's counting up 10 out of 12, 12 out of 12, and if I write one more, it turns red. So it's like, okay, you've got an error, you're overflowing. Okay. Next we can do line color normal, and this will change the line color of the underline by default. So this is a list, and it's RGBA, so red, green, blue, and alpha. So I'll just say maybe I want it to be white. So now when I run my app, it's white by default. Let's change it to something a bit more drastic. There, sort of like a yellow color. So you can change the line color there, but as soon as I click it, it goes back. Oops, it's unhappy because it's required. As soon as I click it, it goes to the green, like highlighted color, and unclick it goes back to the yellow. And now the last one that I can use is called color mode. So color mode lets me switch between my primary and my accent colors here. So I can use this just to like stick with my KivyMD app's sort of natural look and feel. So I can change this to accent, and my accent color is blue instead of green. So color mode changes the highlight color. And when I click here, it should go to blue now. So that's the blue from my accent color of my theme CLS. Okay, so those are the typical ones that you would use. Usually I tend to stick with just these helper text things and let them kind of tell the user about all the requirements for that text field. Okay, now we're going to go over the MDTextFieldRound widget. So I'll have to import that one again. So import MDTextFieldRound from KivyMD.textfields.MDTextFieldRound. Okay, so I'll just throw up the default MDTextFieldRound, and we can see what that looks like. So here it is. It's this kind of rounded sides one, and this one comes with an icon by default. So that's pretty fun. You can change that icon. I will show you how to do that. When you click it, it sort of changes colors, and it shows its cursor, which is the same color as my theme CLS primary color. Alright, so let's go ahead and change the icon. This is super easy to do. All you need to do is give it a different icon name. So maybe I'll say like lock. And now if I run it, or remember right now it's this email. It's an email by default. So if I run it, it should change to a lock sign. Okay, so this is just a normal MD icon. You can get it from, or you can see all the options at the website. I'll put a link down below. It's like a GitHub page. It tells you all the options of the icons you can use. Okay, so let's work with the colors a little bit. There is foreground color, and this is another list, RGBA. So we'll make it something like this. And the foreground color controls the color of the text when you type it. Okay, so if I run this and I start typing some text, I get this nice purple color. Okay, and let's throw in some hint text here as well. So you can use hint text. This is hint text. The MDTextFieldRound widget does not take helper text, okay? So you only get to work with hint text. That's what it looks like. It's a little bit hard to see. But you can fix it, of course, by changing the hint text color. And maybe I'll make this like blue. Okay? So it's another RGBA. And we'll run. And there, my hint text is now blue. And when I type in there, I get the purple. And the last one to change is the cursor color. I can make this whatever I want again. Maybe I'll make this a red. RGBA. And the cursor color controls, when I click in here, you see my cursor is red now. It was green before, which is my app's primary color. Okay, so there you go. We've worked with the MDTextFieldRound and MDTextField now. Let's go to the last one, which I use the least, and this is the MDTextFieldRect. So we're going to go ahead and import this one as well. Import MDTextFieldRect from KivyMD.textfields.MDTextFieldRect. And this one has the least amount of options. We'll throw it in here and just see what it looks like by default. Now this one is a little bit bigger. Typically it tries to take up more space, and when you click on it, it sort of highlights itself, and when you unfocus, the highlight kind of flies away. So you can work with the hint text, of course. We'll throw some hint text in there. This widget, again, does not take helper text, so there's none of this nice helper text for this widget. And that's about it for the MDTextFieldRect widget. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Again, I think you'll be using this hint text the most, and this, the MDTextField the most. And this MDTextFieldRound I've used for like passwords and stuff before, like logins. I liked it for. So stay tuned for more videos, of course, and I hope this was helpful. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.